Gaddafi emerged as a key figure on the global stage, advocating for a unified Africa. His vision inspired the formation of the African Union in 2002. Despite his authoritarian rule, Gaddafi significantly improved living standards in Libya. He nationalized various Western oil companies such as British Petroleum and created the National Oil Corporation, redistributing the oil wealth amongst Libya's citizens via ambitious social programs launched in the areas of education, health, housing, public works, and subsidies for electricity and basic foodstuffs. These policies led to a substantial improvement in the living conditions of Libyans. From being one of the poorest countries in Africa in 1969 to being the continent's leader in its Human Development Index in 2011. Gaddafi's pursuit of Pan-Africanism and desire to create a unified front against Western influence painted him as a potential threat to American interests in the region. His ideological stance and efforts to rally support among African nations were concerning to America. Gaddafi was seen as an enemy of Western countries because of his longing for a United States of Africa, which he pushed for many years, hoping one day to have a unified African government. Gaddafi believed this was the only way that Africa could develop without Western interference. Mustafa Mehta, a Johannesburg-based researcher, said he equally believes Gaddafi was killed because of his objection to Western interference in African affairs. "I think Gaddafi was murdered for standing up to the West and for trying to promote very progressive ideas for Africa, which the West don't like. They want a forever dependent Africa on them," Mehta told Anadolu Agency in an interview. In speeches, Gaddafi often outlined his plan to create a new united Africa with its own currency, an army to defend the continent, and a single passport. He wanted to introduce a gold dinar to back African currencies, thus freeing them from the dollar standard. Gaddafi also longed to protect Africa's natural resources from what he referred to as Western looters. In 2011, amidst widespread protests against Gaddafi's rule, a NATO-led intervention resulted in his downfall and eventual death. The intervention, driven by a coalition of nations including America, aimed to protect Western interests. America's perception of Gaddafi as a threat was shaped by his ideological stance, defiance of international norms, and direct threat to Western global hegemony. His vision of a unified Africa and support for a united currency posed a challenge to American interests and security. His actions marked him as a figure of concern, leading to his eventual downfall. The story of America's perception of Gaddafi serves as a reminder that perceptions of threat are intricately tied to the larger geopolitical context. It is a complex tale of ideology, power, and international relations.